good night, good morning, wherever you may be in the world. Thank you for joining me for another edition of the Truth Conductor Show. Happy Sunday, everybody. How y'all doing today? Man, it's cold out here. I ain't lying. It's cold. Okay, don't play with this and check on the senior citizen. If you are experiencing some cold weather like this in your area, man, check on some seniors. Check on somebody. Make sure they okay. All right, you might be okay, but check on somebody else. Make sure they doing what they need to do. Okay. Um, that's why I'm inside. It's too cold. It's too cold to be out there today, man. It's 20. What is it? Um, see what the weather is saying. It's 21 degrees. Feels like it's 13. Ain't nothing out there for me. With that kind of cold, no, ain't nothing out there for me, man. Only in an emergency am I going out today. I might go out and get me some fresh air, but it won't be but for a minute. But anyway, man, I just been kind of reminiscing over some of the situations I have found myself in from speaking up. When nobody else, everybody else would see injustice and accept it, but me, I got to say something. If I see it, I'm gonna say something, and they don't like it when you speak up, when you stand up. They want everybody to be submissive, and if you're not submissive, they'll make an example out of you. See, that's how they keep people afraid. They make an example. I mean, because let me tell you, um, when I was with Metro back in 2010, I was going on vacation. I thought I was going on vacation. Next thing I know, man, a police was knocking at my door with a supervisor. Supervisor had two police officers standing in my front yard, bringing me a termination letter. Told me, I'm fired and don't set foot back on Metro's property again. And I thought I was on vacation. but but the superintendent of my division was having an open affair with her supervisor. I mean, whatever she gave that boy, Leroy Jones, whatever she gave him, boy, he had it bad. Cause morning, noon, and night, he was back there in her office grinning in her face. And they were firing people like left and right. And I was the shop steward, and I complained about it. I complained about it. And see, and this is and let me show you how people will do you. Folk, let me tell you something now. Listen to me. Um, um, Let me tell you something. Listen, a lot of people will, behind the scenes, encourage you to speak up. They will encourage you. Oh yeah, man. I had a nickname, Top Hat. That everybody in Metro had a nickname, Top Hat. Top Hat because I wore a hat like this. So they called me Top Hat. And oh man, Top Hat, yeah, your brother, man, that's a good thing you speaking up. But shoot, when you get out there on the front line, thinking that people behind you, you'll find out real quick. Everybody else scared, but they got you out there on the front line, speaking up. And see, and then if you win, Oh man, I knew you was gonna be able to do it. I knew, man. I had confidence that you was gonna be able to pull this off. But when you get your ass kicked, he should have known better. You should have known better than to go out there and do something like that. I'm telling you, that's how people will do you. See, so you have to make up in your mind that whatever it is you're speaking up on, or whatever it is that you know you're doing, that you gonna be able to endure the. It's like when I was fighting the corruption in the police department. I think I am the only civilian that has fought corruption in the police department in DC and won. I don't think it's anybody else. Took 7 years. Corruption in the vending department, the vending squad. Them guys was taking bribes, and man, they was doing almost anything. And when I first went to internal affairs to make a complaint about these cops taking bribes, man, they came back and told me I was making that shit up. Said they did an investigation and all they could find was I didn't want to adhere to the vending rules and regulations. And I was making it up. And I said, okay. Matter of fact, that's why I ran for mayor of DC. When I got Sergeant Everett, I never forget his name, from Internal Affairs. I was a vendor right there at 4th and D Street Northwest, in front of then was where the mayor headquarters was, because they were remodeling the Wilson building. And I told the guy, I said, man, I said, if I got to run for mayor to tell this story, I'll do it. And Marion Barry was running for re-election. And Sergeant Everett looked at me and he said, man, you're a street vendor. Ain't nobody gonna listen to you. I said, what you say? He said, you're a street vendor. Ain't nobody gonna listen to you. I took it as an insult. And Board of Election was right in the building that was right in front of me. Man, I walked right into Board of Election. What I got to do to run for mayor? They said, raise your right hand. Here's some petition. We need 2,000 valid signatures for you to get on the ballot. And I went out and I got them. And how I got them was this. See, most folk, when they went out to get signatures, they would only take one clipboard. I took 5. So when one person was signing the petition and I saw somebody else, I got another clip and ain't nobody got to wait. And that's what I was trying to prevent people from having to wait. So I had multiple clipboards to get my signatures. You know, as soon as somebody finished, I take it back. I see somebody else, get them one. I'm constantly, and got 4,000 signatures by myself. I got 4,000 signatures by myself. Okay, because I had multiple clipboards doing it. So anyway, but I should have listened to the man. but I was trying to prove a point. Okay, you say I can't do it. I shouldn't do it, but I got something I want to say, and that's when I stepped on that stage, man. That's when I stepped, and John Ray, God bless his soul, he's the first candidate in DC to raise $1 million. He's the first one, and this was his 4th time running to be man. He thought he was a shoe-in. John Ray. And I never will forget, man. We went to we were at a church at 8th and 8th Street, Northwest, at a Kennedy's Forum. And I sat down next to Mr. Ray, and he knew my stepfather very well. My stepfather worked with him. And I said, "Good morning, Mr. Ray. How you doing?" He said, "Mr. Folden, you're nothing, you're nobody, and you don't count." So what you say? He said, "You're nothing, you're nobody, and you don't count." And I looked at him and I said, "Motherfucker, you're going to regret that to the day you die. I promise you, you're going to regret it." And every time I saw him, I was in his ass. I was in his ass. Okay? And his people had a way of always coming up touching me. And I just went to Mr. I said, "Mr. Ray, listen, tell your people that keep your hands off me, man. They can say whatever they want to do." Because they had Sharon Pratt Kelly's people crying. That's how bad they was bullying them, man. Her staff, they had her staff crying. And so the day of the election, I'm up on South Dakota Avenue, and the busiest precinct in DC. And I see John Ray walking down the street in the alley with a camera crew was with him. And he walked up to me and said, "Mr. Folden, you are invited. Jesse Lee Peterson. Jesse Lee Peterson is a clown. I've been on Jesse Lee Peterson's show. He's a clown. He's a clown. He's just using white people to get their money. That's all Jesse Lee Peterson is doing. He's just using white folk, saying shit white folk want to say just to get their money." But anyway, back to the story. So I had asked Mr. Ray to tell his people, keep their hands off me, right? About you people. He speaks the truth about you people. I can tell right there, boy, you a clown. I can tell you a clown because you come up here talking about you people. So anyway, when he said, "Mr. Folden, you're invited to my victory celebration tonight," I said, "Mr. Ray, only thing I want from you is an apology. That's all I want from you." Because he told me I was nothing, nobody, and didn't count. And one of the guys that was with him tried to move and get in front of me and stand in front of me to block us. Shit, in the bushes, me and him went. We went in the bushes. And I had a suit on. I mean, in the bushes we went. And the cameras are videoing this. And boy, when the word got out, and at that time, John Ray was kicking Marion Barry's ass. He was kicking his ass. And when the fact that one of his workers got into a confrontation with one of the candidates, man, people started coming out, boy. I mean, the tide just turned. Okay, all right. It just let me see who this person is. Let me see who this person is. This person, let me see who you are. And let me see who you are. See exactly who you are. Go to your channel. Let's see here, about channel. March the 20th, 2016. All right, he ain't got but 2 subscribers and no content. But yet you got such an opinion. Um, and since I don't feel like dealing with that negative energy today, I think I'm gonna get rid of you. Yeah, go on and get rid of you. Yeah, go on and get rid of you. But see, here's another thing. You got a lot of people that are out here talking about they support ICE, and we haven't experienced the fallout from the disruption in the supply chain that ICE has caused with these deportations. Okay, um, so 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 be careful. Oh, you stand with ICE? Well, good, good. So when prices start, when the disruption in the supply chain that they have, which means prices gonna go up. Some stuff ain't gonna be available because see they going in factories and interrupting the supply chain. You see, so when you can't afford shit or when shit ain't available, remember you stand with ICE, okay? You stand with ICE. And you're only standing with them because they ain't fucked over you yet. See, when they fuck over you, then I want to see what you got to say. And you think they can't fuck over you, they won't fuck over you, and they will. Or somebody in your family. See, you haven't experienced that yet. You can stand with anybody you want to. I really don't give a shit. Okay? Oh, you think they can't fuck you? Man, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. This government will fuck over you as fast as you can drop a hot biscuit. Do some shit that they don't like and see how quick they'll fuck over you. That fuck your rights. You ain't got no rights. Okay? All right? You ain't got no rights. And you think you got some rights? I mean, let me tell y'all. See, a lot of people, a lot of these people that they are deporting to other countries, that's for life. That's a life sentence. Okay? That is a life sentence. When they start sending these people, these people from to other countries to be jailed, that's for life. That is for life. You ain't getting out. Because America is paying for your ass. The only way out for you is death. That's the only way out. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. Okay? Once they start deporting people to these prisons in other countries, man, that's a life sentence. That's a life sentence. And they gonna make mistakes. They gonna make mistakes. It's some innocent people gonna be see this person talking about good. Let me see who you are. Go to your channel. See. Well, again, again, again. We haven't, we haven't. We for some reason people don't think that all of this stuff, and then too, man. Here's another thing: you take and arrest somebody and deport them. Now everybody know they 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 they've been deported. And they gonna lose everything. You think people ain't going in their houses stealing all this shit? You think all this shit ain't been stolen? And folk know they've been deported? You think this shit ain't been stolen? They done lost everything? They done lost everything. And you good with that. You okay with that. You know, with people losing everything that they done work for, you okay with it. Um, this person say ammo entertainment. Motherfucker, your foreparents, if you're white, came here, they were illegals. They were illegals. They stole the land from the Indians. See, white people they wanna look at their history through rose-colored glasses. That's how they want everybody to look at their history, to that they didn't do no wrong. Okay? All right. See. So, and I'm glad you have been here because I wanna show. I'm gonna put a foot up in your ass. You know, see, everybody else have to get over injustice, get over it. But with white people, see, it's a problem. When they start receiving injustice, now they start hooping and crying and looking for sympathy. But when it comes to anybody else, oh, get over it. You see, it's like that's par for the course. Business as usual. That's what. And see, white people right now are getting the karma from their forefathers. That's what they are experiencing, karma from their forefathers. That's what that. I don't need to join a gang. Why should I join a gang? See, and you proving my point. Every time, uh, every time you start speaking up, you're always gonna have people like this to come in. Okay, you're always gonna have folk like this. Matter of fact, we'll just get you out of here. Let me get you out of here. Go to somebody else's channel. Bye. Get out of here. Just get you out of here. That's all. Matter of fact, let me take this shit off. Yeah. Yeah, let me do that. Get all that little dick energy, man. Take that somewhere else. I ain't interested in it. But anyway, so I'm just showing you that when it comes to speaking up, that a lot of people are not going to be comfortable with the fact that you're not afraid. They're not going to be comfortable with it. Okay, they just not going to be comfortable with it. And they'll look at you with more suspicion and agree with everything you're saying. But then they'd be trying to figure out, well, what you up to? Why? See, I told y'all, I started my message, stop hating each other because you disagree, in 2020. That's when I started that message 5 years ago, going on 6 years now. I was right 6 years ago. But yet nobody wants to acknowledge or recognize the fact that, man, this man been telling the truth. I even had a woman, she come out there talking about the Epstein files, and I was like, well, where the parents of these children at? You know, they talk about all these victims, and see, they he didn't want no black girls because he know he couldn't pull that shit over on black parents that he did with white parents. Okay, he couldn't do that. But have you noticed not one parent from these victims of Epstein have come out and said they want justice for their child? I mean, seriously. I mean, if my child has been fucked over, I'm gonna speak up. If my child has received some injustice, I'm speaking up. Okay, so how come none of these parents of these children are speaking up? Why are the parents silent? And nobody's asking that question. They're talking about, the what's going on, Cody? They're talking about the victims, but where the parents? All these underage girls. Where the parents? How your daughter gonna go to some island and you don't know nothing about it? You don't miss her. Where the parents of these kids at? That's what I want to know. Where the parents of these children? How come we ain't putting some accountability on them? Why they get a pass? And let me ask that question again. Why are the parents of these victims getting a pass? Oh, you think they don't? No. These wasn't no, no. This wasn't no trailer trash. Let me show this here. Nutty Bush says, stop playing the blame the pedophiles. No, hey, wait a minute. Nobody's getting a pass here. I ain't giving nobody a pass. I'm just asking that how come some parent didn't recognize some of this stuff? No. So the parents don't have no responsibility of what their child does. Is that what you're saying? Said the parents don't well, this person say, I don't see you saying anything bad about the pedophiles. Man, them motherfuckers ain't getting away with shit. They ain't getting away with nothing. They ain't getting away with nothing. Hey, if you think all of them men that's out here dealing with these children, you think they getting away with that? No, man, that shit is on their bloodline. Somebody gonna do the same thing to their child or their grandchild or great grandchild. Ain't nobody getting away with nothing. They ain't getting away with it. But the question has to be asked is, how come how these girls are able to go to this island and not be missed? And not be missed. How you do that? If you're parenting, how you do that? Unless they're being bought off. Okay, I'm just asking as a father. I'm just asking as a father. Okay? How do your child be able to be gone for an extended period of time and you ain't asking no questions? You ain't asking no question. Okay? See, and some of the people that did speak up, look what happened to them. Look what happened to them. But I think at some point, you know, we need to stop letting these parents get off the hook. That's a parenting problem. Forget, you see, because you can't control what the desires of another person. You can't control that. But you can control what's under your roof, or you should be able to. Okay? And I think it's high time that somebody put these parents on the spot. How you didn't notice this? How you didn't see this? How you didn't question this? If it's happening under your roof, unless you just too busy to be paying attention. Well, see, and here again, it's more than some parents benefited from this madness. It's some parents benefited from their daughters being involved with this man, with Epstein. It's some parents benefited from that. You ain't gonna tell me they didn't benefit. They benefited from it. That's how he was able to do that shit and get away with it. Because the parents went along with it. They ain't saying nothing. They ain't raising no alarm. Not one parent I have not seen, out of all of the victims that they're talking about, I've not seen one parent come up and say, I want some justice for my child. Not one parent. I've not seen one parent. And we know he ain't want no niggas. So we talking about white folk. These are white parents we're talking about. And not one of them has come forward to say, I want justice for my child. Not one. These are white parents. Because he was real clear. I don't want no niggas. Real clear about that. So the Epstein scandal is a white parent's problem. Let me say that again. The Epstein scandal is a white parent's problem. They lost control of their child. Because there's no way your child can go to an island and be there for an extended period of time and you not know their whereabouts. Not one parent didn't know the whereabouts of their daughter. And see, we got to, a lot of these young kids, unfortunately, are gonna have to be educated about how people try to entice them to do some things they don't want to do. And see, and it's sad, man, that these young kids today, not only do they have to deal with the peer pressure, but they also have to deal with adults that are trying to hit on them. They got to deal with that too. And you got more adults right now that are preying on these young kids than you can shake a stick at. And unfortunately, a lot of these young girls, especially, are just too hot to try. Because that's all they see. That's what they see working. This is the lifestyle they see working. Because they don't see nothing else positive working. Um, obviously they are. Obviously they are, because it's a different dynamic. But nobody's asking, where are the parents of these children? Where are they? How come they not standing up? How come they not saying anything? Not one parent, man. And seeing, we, instead of us talking about, pedophiles, we need to be teaching these young children how to recognize that. We need to teach them. Okay? We need to teach them. Chilled out CEO. Can you give a motivational speech? Pay me. Absolutely. Absolutely. See, here's the thing, man. We don't want to. This is why I say this is a good versus evil problem. Because good people are afraid of other good people. There are a lot of people that agree with my message. Stop hating each other because you disagree. They agree with it. But they scared to put $1 in the bucket because they don't know what I'll do with it. Now, I've been at this 5 years. If I was in it for the money, I would have been gave up a long time ago. If I was just in it for the money, because there are a lot of days money ain't that good from donations. But that don't stop me. I keep going back. And every time I try to quit, man, and I know this is God sending somebody. I know it. I can feel it. And I say, okay, all right, Lord, I'm gonna take this butt whipping today. I'm going home, and I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow. Now, isn't it interesting that we now have boy, God is good, because right now they have closed down Lafayette Park. They done closed it down. And there's only one place, if you're going to come visit the White House, that you can stand in front of the White House. And that's right where I sit. See, the crowd has to come there. If the park was open, there are a lot of people I wouldn't see. But if you're going to come see the White House now, you got to walk by me. You got to walk by me. Okay? Well, yeah, back in the day they did, but it was the 80s. These 80s babies, parents, are the ones that, the 80s parents are the ones that messed up the Black community. Because that's when Mind Your Business started, from that 80s crew. And if you look at today, we are suffering from their offsprings. It's the offsprings of the 80s crew that's now holding the Black community hostage. Because that's the crew that you mind your business crew. See, that's them. All right? That's the crew. That 80s crew. It's what Bebe's kids. you remember Bebe kids? Yeah, Bebe kids. Yeah, that's what we dealing with. We dealing with Bebe kids' offsprings right now. That's what we're dealing with. Baby kids' offsprings. That's what we're dealing with. Okay? That's what we're dealing with. And this is a rough crew. A rough crew, buddy. Because their parents were rough. Their parents was callous and cold. And see, and like I told y'all, man, ain't nothing. People think, folk think they getting away with. Man, people ain't getting away with nothing. Yeah, I am a conductor. I am. Yes, I am. I look the part. uh, uh, I look the part. Good morning. I always see you. What's your content, please, sir? It's about when you speak up, people ain't gonna like it. They ain't gonna like it when you speak up. When you rock the boat, they ain't gonna like that. And they gonna try to make an example out of you. It's just that simple. You know, when you start going against the system, trust me, and speaking up, and they know you ain't scared to speak up, they're gonna make an example out of you. They're gonna violate your rights. Because when they violate your rights, they're gonna know you ain't got the money to defend yourself. See, they know that. That's why they can screw over you, because they know you ain't got the money to defend yourself. Hey, look here. This person talking about you too old to be on YouTube. You look like I'm too old, man. I don't even look my age. I don't even look my age. Okay, don't even look my age. And unless you been in here before, tell me how old how old I am. Uh, no, baby kids, man. Baby kids were that's the and see, like, unfortunately, in the black community, most of the examples of success that they have is from something negative. You know, you either got to be an athlete, an entertainer, or a drug dealer to succeed in the black community. No, 68. I'm 73, man. You're close. I'm 73. Okay. The only outs in the black community is an athlete, an entertainer, or drug dealer. It's just that simple. It's that simple. Those are the only outs. If you try to do something else, you clout chasing. Okay? You clout chasing. And see, that's in the black community. When you try to when you're trying to build a brand or an idea, you clout chasing. So consequently, other blacks who are successful will avoid you. They're not trying to uplift you. Um, so here's a well, things are changing, though I think black people need to stop having children and leaving them to raise themselves. Well, isn't it interesting that white people are not making children now, that they want everybody else to stop? White women right now, they ain't got. It's hard for them to find a white man to procreate with, because white men are turning to themselves. They are lover of themselves. They don't care nothing about that white woman. They looking for another man. Okay? They looking for another man. It's just that simple. That's why white people are in a panic. Cause white women, them days of having 10, 12, 15 children, it's over. Okay? It's over. They ain't doing that no more. White women ain't trying to be stuck with all them children no more. And that's why they're panicking. Because the white race is declining. They are not the majority. Their numbers are drastically dropping of being the majority. They're dropping. Because them white women, they got to go to either Hispanic or black or Asian. If they looking for a mate, they can't find a white man. It's just that simple. See, you got to understand that. Okay, let me show you how a lot of people don't want to accept history. Okay? See, when the welfare system started, this is a continuation of slavery, welfare. What? How you gonna say welfare was a continuation of slavery? It was. Because the federal government said, black man, have as many children as you want, with as many different women as you want, and as long as you ain't in the house overnight, we gonna give them welfare. They getting something for nothing. Okay? All right? So now you have generation on top of generation that's stuck in a mindset of getting something for nothing. That's slavery. And because of that mentality, now crime in your community is out of control because you got a bunch of young kids stuck in the mindset of getting something for nothing. And society will say black men don't want to be fathers. But the federal government say you ain't got to be a father. We gonna give them welfare. And then the men who are fathers in their homes, those are the ones that are demonized. Okay? What's the solution? We uplift each other. That's the solution. We got to stop being afraid to uplift each other. That's the solution. We can see good. We can agree with it, but we're scared to get involved. Scared. So the solution is stop being afraid to get involved. That's the solution. It's just that simple. And even if you don't have the courage to physically get involved, why not donate to the cause? Why not donate to the cause? It's just that simple. Say this way we need older people. This is why, I guess, because they know what's going on in the world and how the real history of America, because they lived in there, witnessed. Well, see, we don't. Unfortunately, we don't realize history repeats itself. It really does. And to show you, see, a lot of the things that black folk went through is now white people are going through some of the same stuff we already know. Okay, we've been through that. We see that. We recognize that. And right now, 10 out of 10 black people have either been received some injustice or they know somebody that has been treated unjustly. 10 out of 10 either experienced it or they know of an experience. Okay? Man, speaking of Black history is the last frontier of tourism. See, it's a lot of cities right now that Black history is just dying on the vines that they could be using to get people. See, this stuff that Trump is doing has interrupted international tourism. Trump has turned international tourism on its head with all these visas and restrictions and all that other stuff. See, international tourism has been disrupted. So now you're going to have to figure out how you can get part of this pie of this national tourism, people from other states. And you got Black history that's just dying on the vines because nobody wants to tell the story to get people to come to their towns to visit. This is a problem I got with DC. Okay? Well, again, because of the mindset that we have been taught. See, we have been subconsciously taught that if you Black people, see, a lot of y'all don't know because you don't know Black history, but it was against the law for more than 7 Black people to gather together at one time. Let me say that again. See, a lot of y'all don't know it was against the law for more than 7 Black people together at one time. That was against the law. So even though the law has been abolished, the mindset goes down from generation to generation to generation. See, white people right now are stuck in the mindset of the 1850 Fugitive Slave Act. Okay? Man, in fact, let me read that to you and show you the mindset, and it's been unchecked. It's been unchecked. That's why we are the only race of people who have to justify why we are where we are. The 1850 Fugitive Slave Act. Okay? Hey, Jeff, man, how you doing, man? Brother, for some reason, my Cash App has been deactivated, and I haven't been able to get a justification answer. They say I violated some terms of service, but they won't tell me what my violation was. So this is one of the guys, man. I appreciate when you could get some money to me, but that's been the problem. But listen to this, y'all. Listen to this. Listen to this. Passed on September the 18th, 1850 by Congress, the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850 was part of the Compromise of 1850. The act required that slaves be returned to their owners even if they were in free states. See, the Fugitive Slave Act of 1793 didn't require slaves to be returned. Okay? But under the 50 Fugitive Slave Act, see, police departments were now required. And they called it the Bloodhound Act because somebody literally could walk up to you and say, I own that nigga right there. That's my slave. and there was nothing you could do or say to defend yourself. That's why they call it the Bloodhound Act. Because so many innocent black people were sold back into slavery because they couldn't even defend themselves. All right? See, the Fugitive Slave Act of 1793 authorized state officials to capture runaways, but often ignored. Okay? The 1850 Act, part of the compromise, federalized enforcement, mandated participation from all citizens, removed key protections like jury trials for the accused, and imposed harsh penalty, making it far more effective and controversial, intensifying Northern abolitionist sentiment and leading to violent resistance. 1850 Fugitive Slave Act. So just like the mindset of something for nothing, okay, passed down from generation to generation, the 1850s Slave Act, that mindset passed down from generation to generation of white people unchecked. And that's why today they'll walk up to you and say, what you doing here? Who you know here? Why are you here? That's why that's the 1850 Fugitive Slave Act that they still enforcing today. Today, 2026, that mindset is alive and well right now because it's been passed down. See, a lot of y'all don't even know this. I done put a new wrinkle on your brain. Yeah, I'm telling you. Okay? Listen, the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850 that requires citizens and officials to help capture and return escaped enslaved people to their owners, even if they reach free states, imposing harsh penalties on those who aided runaways. Okay? See, now, and that's another thing that we don't talk about. Okay? That's another thing we don't talk. There are a lot of white people who gave their lives to help black people escape to freedom. Let me say that again. There are a lot of white people who gave their lives for helping black people to escape to freedom. But those stories are dying on the vine. We don't tell them stories. Okay? People aren't interested in those stories. And this is the kind of stuff that we have to, that's what we got to do. Okay? Well, see, that's a good point. John Brown, matter of fact, let me just give you let me give you some history out of West Virginia. Okay? On October the 16th, 1859, abolitionist John Brown led a band of 21 men in a raid on the federal armory at Harper's Ferry, West Virginia, intending to ignite a slave revolt. Although they briefly captured the armory, the raid failed when local militias and U.S. Marines, led by Robert E. Lee, surrounded them. Brown was captured, tried for treason, and executed on December 2nd, 1859. And that's what they would do. If they found white people guilty of trying to help black people escape to slavery. from slavery, that was treason for a white person trying to help free black people. Was treason. That was treason. Okay? And that means you died. Okay? Oh, okay. Mother Capricorn say, okay, so what black person should we be leaning towards to bring us back from all of the chaos? Well, see, you got to realize that with the murder of Dr. King, Malcolm X, Medgar Evers, and a lot of other civil rights leaders was intended to still fear. And then on top of that, they put other people in place that didn't have our best interests. They talk black, but they couldn't walk black. It was all a front. And that just breeded the distrust, like the Jesse Jacksons and the Al Sharptons. Okay? All of that was, Al Sharpton was a police informant. He was informant. He was an FBI informant. Okay, and this is one of the people, and you think he ain't still on the payroll? And this is why I have a problem with all you motherfuckers lifting up Jay-Z. Jay-Z sold dope to kill his own community. He didn't get where he got because he did it from scratch. That motherfucker cheated to get in the game. He cheated. He was a drug dealer. He didn't do that from scratch. Petey Green. Yeah. So anytime a black person comes up and starts speaking the truth and can't be bought by the establishment, they ain't trying to do nothing to elevate that person. They don't want to elevate that person. They don't want, we got, and see, unfortunately, with this crew that we got in the black community now, shit, you can go in there and try to help them, they'll rob your ass. Okay? They'll rob you. And you trying to help them. Okay? All right, I mean, it's just that simple. It's just that simple. But see, in order for you to get ahead now, you're gonna have to be one side or the other. You can't walk down straight and narrow. You got to be on one side or the other. And right now, see, evil has good people scared of themselves. Evil got good people afraid of themselves. Evil got good people. There's good and bad in everybody. Let me say that again. There's good and bad in everybody. How come the good people can't come together? Why good people? You can right now get rich overnight going negative. You can get rich overnight by being negative, dividing people, sowing discord. You can get rich overnight. Okay, you really can. You can get rich overnight being negative. Because that's what people are gravitating to. And see, and I'm gonna tell y'all, everybody and their mama gonna now come out and want to be a life coach. Okay? All right? Everybody and their mama are now gonna want to come out and be a life coach. And you know what's gonna happen? is, see, they can't use their life as an example. They're gonna be always talking about what somebody else did, how somebody else did it. They can't show you how they did it. See, they just in it for the money. So you're gonna have a whole lot of people jumping on this positive bandwagon. Say what's the general vibe in DC now? Man, everybody just is sitting back waiting. Everybody, because the bottom getting ready to drop out now. The bottom is getting ready to drop out. And see, and everybody that's talking God ain't gonna be able to survive. Because they talk a good game, but they can't walk a good game. So you got a lot of people right now that can talk God, but they can't walk God. And see, when people come up and ask you, you believe in Jesus? That's to get you to drop your guard. That's all that's designed to do, is to get you to drop your guard. I celebrate Black History every day. Matter of fact, this is Black History is all February is all, and I have Black History tours, and this has always been the worst month for me. White people make more money off Black History. White businessmen make more money off Black History than Black folk, than Black businessmen. I'm serious, man. I never will forget. I think I started my tours in 2014. In 2015, let me see. No, 2018. 2019. Man, I was Black History. I was praying to God, Father, please don't let me go out of business in no Black History Month with no Black History tours. Please, Lord, whatever you do, just don't let me go out of business with no Black History tours and Black History Month. Any other day, I don't mind. Any other month, I don't mind. That's how bad business was. And I'm out promoting my business, man. I done been in the Washington Post. I just knew when I had I'm trying to find my photos here. Here we go. I just knew when I got my story in the Washington Post, shit, man, I was getting ready. Business was gonna fly. Shit, I was, pop. And that's how that article fell. Pop, just like that, man. I don't think if I got one piece of business from that article, I didn't get nothing. I might have got one person to book a tour from that news article. I'm serious. That's how bad it was. That's how bad it was. And see, I started out advertising DCBlackTours.com. Man, I got that all over the world. I got that. That's how I knew how to, when I put here's the article right here. Man, when this article dropped, I just knew. And look, I was so broke when they wrote this article. My bicycle is literally at my feet. When I took this picture right here, man, I was so broke. I didn't even have money to get on the bus to go down to the Martin Luther King. I had to ride my bicycle from Southeast DC, had to take my time so I wouldn't sweat my clothes out. I had to ride my bicycle down to MLK to do this article because I ain't even have money to get on the bus. That's how broke I was. And look, and I don't look broke. You can honestly say, boy, I ain't looking broke, but boy, I'm telling you, I couldn't rub two nickels together. That's how bad business was. This is how bad business was, man. I'm not and the press in DC know who I am. They know who I am. I got a hell of a story, man. I really do. I got a hell of a story. I really do. Tanya, what's going on? Thank you for joining me. But you know, see, but if you're not committed to your idea, you won't be able to withstand the adversity that's gonna come with it. See, your commitment is what's gonna make you endure adversity. God diggity dog. I gotta write that down. I gotta write that one down. I gotta write that down. Man, it's your commitment. What will help you endure adversity. Cause you ain't in it for the money. You ain't in it for the money. You there because, this is what's coming out of your heart. Okay? Yeah, I miss old Periscope too. But this is what's coming out of your heart, man. And that's what you do. I mean, it's just that simple. I wonder what YouTube let me go live. Let me see. No, see. Okay, let me see something here. Hold on a second. Okay, let me see if they'll let me go live. Oh, let's see if they let me go live. Oh, they will. Wait a minute. Let me let me try this. Let me try this. Let me try this. Let me try this. See how many times, cause um, let's see. Let me see. Let me see if they'll let me go live. If they do, uh, that's gonna be interesting. Let's see. Let me see. Let me see if it's what's it gonna do. See if it's gonna let me go live. Let's see if it'll let me go live. Oh boy. I got two. Oh, I'm gonna start. This is what I'm gonna start doing now, buddy. I'm gonna start using two cameras, two phones to go live at the same time on YouTube. And that's what I'm gonna do. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. Okay? Um, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. It's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start going live with two phones. That's how I was able to build up Periscope. I had three phones. I'd go live at the same time on three different phones on Periscope. You know, but I'm gonna see how this gonna work. Oh, and I got somebody that's done joined me too. I said this is the second live. Thank you for joining me. And that's what I'm gonna do. This is exactly what I'm gonna do. I got another live, so I'm gonna start going live on two different phones on YouTube at the same time. See, nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing that. Everybody's just using one phone to go live. But why don't you see? And that's what separates you from the crowd. Okay? See, you gotta be, you gotta come up with something different from what everybody else is doing. That's how you separate yourself from the crowd. You want to go and try to be like everybody, dress like everybody, whatever the trend is. You ain't separating yourself, man. You just blending in. And when people look at the crowd, you ain't going to stand out. But if you're doing something different, like right now, if I would walk off in a crowd in my uniform as a truth conductor, I'm going to stand out. Because I'm different from everybody else. Everybody else blend in together because they all wearing street clothes. But because I'm different, see, I'm going to stand out because I'm in uniform. So I'm going to stand out. And that's what a lot of people don't want to do. They don't want to stand out. And see, and when you start speaking up, you stand out. Let me say that again. When you start speaking up, man, you stand out. You stand out. You just stand out. You different from everybody else. But I got what, 7 on one phone and I got 3 on this one. What's going on? So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start using 2 different phones. Okay? Well, but see, here's the difference. Here's the difference, Ed. Ed say if you speak the truth, you stand out. Only if they allow your truth to be heard, you'll stand out. If they allow your truth to be heard, you'll stand out. Remember when you rock the boat, because I told you, stop hating each other because you disagree. Everybody agrees that I haven't found one person in the world to disagree with that message. And I've been in it for 5 years. And still waiting to get for people to acknowledge it and get the recognition, okay, that you need. All right, so and that's where you can't let discouragement creep in. See, a lot of people throw in the towel and quit because they get discouraged. They can't handle the discouragement. Because you got a lot of people, man, that will sit back on the sidelines and throw stones and make fun of you because you got the courage to speak up. You got the courage to voice your opinion. Most folk don't want to voice their opinion because they are afraid. Okay? Somebody asked me who you want to win. I don't give a fuck. Super Bowl ain't putting $1 in my pocket. I don't care nothing about that game. That game ain't doing nothing for me. It ain't doing not one thing for me. So I could care less who wins. Don't matter. Don't matter, because that's their game. All right? Jefferoni, man, thank you for that $1.99, man. You're the first person today to give me some money, man. Thank you. You're the first person today to give me some money, man. Thank you. Okay? Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Right? But no. See, you got to. See, this is one thing that a lot of people don't want to be accountable and responsible for what they're doing and where they are. They don't want to be held accountable and responsible. Well, I'm telling you, I like this idea. I'm going to do this. This is from now on. When I go live on YouTube, I'm using 2 phones to go live. I'm going to use 2 different phones to go live. Then if I get me, I should get my other phone and go use 3. Let me go on YouTube and go live. Yeah, that's it. See, that's, let me see, what does this message say? Um, um, no, I'm going live on 2 phones. I'm on 2 phones. I have 4 on this phone, and I got 2 on this one. Now I'm on 2 different phones right now, as we speak. I'm live on 2 different phones. And that's what I'm gonna start doing. I think I just discovered something. I think I just discovered something, buddy. I just discovered something. And see this is a listen. This is why you can't be afraid to try your ideas. Okay, somebody mentioned Periscope, and I was like, yeah, when I was on Periscope, I used 3 different phones. I said, wait a minute, let me see if I can go live on 2 different phones on YouTube at the same time, and I can. And that's what, and people gonna be strolling through and say, wait a minute, how is he doing that? How's he, because I got 2 different phones. I go live, that's what I'm gonna do. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. Yeah, I'm on 2 different phones right now. No, I was not in the military. I'm on 2 different phones right now. I'm on 2. Matter of fact, let me show you. See, I'm live. I'm live on 2 different phones right now. I'm live on 2 different phones right now. Right now, I'm live. I sure am. And that's what that, and this is, see, again, if your ideas are not growing in your head, they're dead. And see, this is one of the things that I've learned about ideas. See, when you embrace ideas will always come to you because they want attention. Let me say that again. When you start embracing ideas as they come to you because they want attention, they'll always come to you because they know you're not going to dismiss them. You're not going, just let them go. You're going to give them some attention. You're going to caress them. You're going to touch them. You're going to tweak them. And they'll always come to you. Seriously. So when an idea come to you, man, embrace it. See where it leads you. Because it's going to lead you somewhere. It really is. It's going to lead you somewhere. And this is the thing that I think a lot of people don't get about ideas. Ideas have offsprings. Just like you make children, ideas do the same thing. Ideas have offsprings. And them offsprings will have an offspring. And that means that idea will be constantly growing. So when you embrace an idea, that idea is going to introduce you to another idea. And that idea, and your ideas will keep introducing you to other ideas. Now, if you got a lot of confusion, if you got a lot of distractions, you'll miss those ideas. Because you got too much drama going on around you. You'll miss the idea. The idea came, but you missed it. Because you were distracted. And that's why you need to stay away from, especially now, with the way things are going, man, you don't need to be distracted by nothing. because you need to be focused and paying attention to what's going on. But that's now I got me a new idea. I got me a new idea. And how many people you know that are using two different phones to go live on YouTube? See, I told you, see, the what you need to do is focus on how can I separate myself from the pack? And this is one of the ways to do it, is to go live on two different phones at the same time. You see, so people can say, wait a minute, I just saw him, he wasn't in that. Oh, he got two different, yeah, I got two different phones that I'm live on right now. And I wish I could could go through and see the other one, but that's how you do it. That's exactly how you do it. Now that I know it works, oh, I'm finna blow this up. I'm gonna blow this idea up right here. And I'm gonna mess around and get me a third phone and go live on YouTube at the same time. That's what I'm gonna do. And that's what's gonna separate me from the crowd. Right there, because I go live on two different phones, while most people only use one. You see how how quick ideas can come. You see, and right now it sounds crazy, but let's see how it works. Okay, see how it works. Well, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Now I got this. This is my Periscope days right here. This is how I build up Periscope with more than one phone. And I'm getting ready to do the same thing with YouTube, because I have more than one phone going live. And I'm gonna see if I can do the same thing with X. Go live on two different phones. I think that's what I'm gonna start doing now. Just use two phones instead of one, because most folk are only using one. So I'll use two. Let's see here. All right. All right. Anyway, now that I done had that little experiment, let me cut this one off. There we go. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start going live with more than one phone. Damn, I didn't expect that today. I didn't expect that today. And see, and this is a good example to show you how ideas will present themselves. I was on YouTube. Yeah, I just ended. It was on YouTube. It's on YouTube. I'm gonna do it. I got to get my other stand so I don't have to hold it. I can just put it in. But yeah, that's it. My lives now from this day forward, every time I go live, I will be on two different phones. I'll be on two different phones. So, cause see what I discovered, especially with Periscope. See, they had all of the lives would be in a line together. You just go to Periscope and see all of the lives, and then and people will start seeing multiple images of me at the same time in their lives. Like, how this man doing this? How you doing that? And that's what I was doing. So now, and remember this: if your ideas are not growing in your head, they're dead. Let me say that again. If your ideas are not growing in your head, they're dead. What you mean? See, when your idea is growing in your mind, you start seeing different expressions of it. Okay? You that's exactly what you do. When it's growing, you're gonna start seeing, and I mean these expressions will just is there's no set time for them to come. You know, you might be talking to your significant other, and that idea will just present itself. And that's when you have to write it down. Because a lot of times you will find that if you don't write down the idea when it comes, you'll forget it. You won't remember. And you might think you have a hell of a memory, and you'll forget it. Okay? So when an idea come to you, write it down. Write it down. Write it down. You know, write it down. And you'll be able to it'll grow. But if you count on, oh, I remember that, man, so much 10 minutes later, you'll be coming back like, damn, I had a good idea and didn't write it down. Write it down, man. Write it down. You know, if a message come, you know, if a phrase come, write it down. Write it down. So you can go back and look at it. Okay? Um, and see, one of the I think my strength of being able to recognize an idea comes from having a heart to serve. You know, when when I was fired from Metro back in 2010, I didn't really trip because the job was interfering with my going to church. And when I lost my job, I said, man, shoot, now I can just go to church and serve. And that's how I didn't get caught up in the injustice, because I was too busy serving. You know, I was started out in the parking lot ministry. Then I went to the television ministry, transportation ministry, and usher. Those were the 4 ministries that I worked. I stayed busy. If I wasn't driving the bus, I was ushering. If I wasn't ushering, I was helping out with the cameras. I stayed busy. See, and that's when, see, a lot of times if you want to survive some injustice, man, you have to keep yourself busy. Well, it is, Jeff, if you don't get caught up. See, you can only experience. Jeff says it's interesting. There's always seen to be good that comes out of what appears to be a bad thing if you don't get caught up. See, most folk when they receive injustice, they get stuck in revenge. getting even. And after a while, when you see that, I was talking about, show people, man, and people would tell me, oh man, get over that. Get over the fact that, that somebody screwed you. Get over the fact that you were mistreated, that they stole your job. You're supposed to get over that. Move on with your life. Take that. That's what you get. And I was like, so to keep my mind busy, man, I went to church and served. That's what I would do. And a lot of people that know me. And this is why today I will not set foot in another church as a member. After my experience with my church that I went through, I will not set foot to this day in another church as a member. No, sir, buddy. I'll take my chances out here. Okay. And you'll find, but Jeff, what I discovered was, and I was going to church, and we had a location up near Baltimore, and they had a Saturday night service. That's what I wanted to do, was go to church on Saturday, not Sunday. So sometimes, man, I had a deacon that would meet me at New Carrollton Metro. I'm in Southeast. I get on at Benning Road, and I go to New Carrollton. Sometimes I walk down to Minnesota Avenue, which was the Orange Line. Before I got my bike, when I got my bicycle, man, I would ride my bike down to Minnesota Avenue, get on the train, lock my bike up at New Carrollton, go to church. He would drop me back off at New Carrollton. I get off at Minnesota Avenue, get my bicycle, and ride back to my house. Okay? All right? So I'm going to church up near Baltimore, up off of Route 100, man, over at least 30, 45 minutes away from D.C., and was faithful. But one thing I can say though, at the time, I didn't have any transportation. There were Steve said, I wouldn't let a bad church experience turn you off from all churches, but I understand where you're coming from. No, it's not. But see, you got to realize that most of them follow the same script. They follow the same script. Most churches, have the same blueprint that they follow. So and I know a lot of people that church hop. You see them, they whichever church is the hottest at that time, that's where they want to be. But I just was like, you know what, man? I'm not gonna subject myself to that anymore. And I actually end up being right. Because now, see, I can look at a church and see how they operate. No, nah, I don't need to be in there. No, And I'm gonna show you, man, the two guys who were deacons that I had the most problems with in church ended up leaving their wives. In church. They were deacons in church. And both of them left their wives. Them are the two guys I had the most problems with. Okay? The two guys I had the most problem with end up leaving their wives. So I must have been right about something. Must have been right about something. So I don't know. I'm beyond church now. I'm beyond church, man. I'm beyond that. I'm just, it's not a necessity for me because, and here's the crazy part: a lot of Christians are afraid to speak to other Christians, but they want you to follow their Jesus, and they are afraid to speak to another Christian. Nah, I can do without that. I can do without that. I don't need that. I don't need that in my life. No. Mm-mm. And see, and that's something that you have to determine. That only you can determine that. Only you can determine that. All right? All right, man. I've been on here about an hour and a half. Super Bowl Sunday. Who cares? Who cares? Too much. See. Again, a lot of people want to get caught up in the drama and the distraction. Well, church right now, Steve, is a generational family business. That's what most churches are now, are just generational wealth for families. They Hey Jeff, thank you, man. I received $1 from you, brother, on YouTube, on PayPal. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you for that dollar. See, most folk right now use church as a mechanism to set up a family business. Some of their kids can take over. That's what they do. They look at all these mega churches. Their families took over. Their kids took over the church. That's just some generational wealth for their family. Their kids going, something that their kids can take over. Ain't got nothing to do with the God. No, they talk God, but they don't walk him. They definitely talking though. They talk God. So when you see that kind of situation, you kind of just like, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be a part of that. That's not something that I'm interested in. Okay? No, they ain't got no vote. And she on her second husband. TD. Whoa, Jeff, man, damn, dude. Thank you, man. That dude just blessed me with $100, man. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I got it, man. I got it. Thank you, brother. Thank you. But no, this is what they do. They use this to prop up their kids. That's what churches are all about now. First one was the test. Thank you, man. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you. Um, and people know, and folk know. They you know when somebody's sincere and when they ain't. See that? Because my grandmama used to tell me, my daddy was a preacher, my mama was a preacher, and folk used to always say, "Oh man, you gonna be a preacher." And that's one of the, and being a preacher's child, no, that ain't for me. And I went to my grandmama. I said, Makora, you know, how come everybody be telling me, I'm gonna be a preacher and all of this other stuff? And she said, baby, listen, play with a lot of things, okay, but God ain't one of them. That's what my grandmama told me. She said, baby, play with a lot of things, but God ain't one of them. Don't play with him. Okay? And when she told me that, I was like, that's just my out. I don't want to play with God. And to show you now, and I ran from that. And look, here I am, truth conductor. You know what truth conductor is? A messenger from God. He gonna get you one way or the other, buddy. If God gonna get you, say, okay, you don't want to be in the pulpit? Nah, put you in the street. You don't want to be a preacher? Should I still make you just like one? Okay? Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, man. All right? And that's it. And I just stopped fighting it. I told y'all the other day, when was it? Thursday. Man, I was getting my butt kicked down there. And I said, I'm gonna go home. This is it. I'm going, I'm leaving. And one side that I was gonna catch the train on, it was gonna be like 15 minutes. So I said, well, let me go on the other side and I can transfer and catch. And when I went over there on the other side, this girl walked up and said, sir, this is the, and she was live on the phone. She said, now this is the message right here. Say, all y'all need to be getting this message. And so she said, when we started talking, I said, it's a rough day. So I said, I got my butt kicked and I'm going home. And she said, you know what? If you didn't get your butt kicked today, you'd have never met me. And she reached in her pocketbook and the train started coming and she said, so let me see if I got some money, and reached in her pocketbook and just gave me some bills because the train coming. I just took the money and put it in my pocket. I didn't look at it. Just said, okay, thank you, sister. She said, you the guy playing the music down in front of the White House, right? She said, yeah. She said, I'm going to be coming back to see you. She said, but don't you be discouraged. Don't you give up. Okay? You hang in there because you doing God's work. I get home, man, that girl gave me $7. 7 is God's number. She gave me $7. Right? And I just knew then. I said, and see, and that's every time I get to the point where I want to quit and I want to give up, man, I'm just, okay, Lord, I can't do this no more. God will always send somebody to say, hang in there, man, you're doing the right thing. You see, and this is a thing you constantly have to be conscious of. The people that yes, God's number, man. 7 is God's number. And 7th day he rested. That's 7 is God's number. That's God's number. 6 days he built the earth. The 7th day he rested. That's God's number. 7. See, so so I'm just telling you, man, be conscious of your environment. See, because the Bible say, be careful how you treat a stranger because you might be entertaining an angel unaware. And see, and that's some of them homeless people that's walking up on you. Man, be careful how you dealing with them, because you might be dealing with an angel unaware. And that's the truth. That's the truth. And that's why you kind of have to be careful how you treat people. Now, none of us are perfect. Okay? We all gonna have a moment. Okay? Yeah, that's 7 is God's number, man. That's God's number. 7th day he rested. The 7th day. 6 days he created the earth and the universe. On the 7th day, he rested. That's his number. 7. A lot of people don't look at it like that, but that's God's number. 7 is God's number, because that's the day he rested. Okay? And when he rested on that day, that's when he put his anointing on the 7th day. See, Sunday is the first day of the week. There's not a calendar you can find in the world that goes from Monday to Sunday. Every calendar you see goes from Sunday to Saturday. That's the calendar you follow. Goes from Sunday to Saturday. But your work week starts on a Monday and goes to Friday. That's the difference. See? I put a new wrinkle on your brain. I just put a new wrinkle on your brain. Yeah. No, seriously. You're not going to find a calendar that goes from Sunday to from Monday to Sunday. Every calendar goes from Sunday to Saturday. I don't care who you are. Okay. I don't care who you are. And see, that's another thing. You know, a lot of preachers know Sunday is the first day of the week. But if they turn around and say, we now gonna have church on Saturday, probably 90% of the congregation would leave. If a pastor right now say, man, we gonna start having church on Saturday instead of Sunday, because that's what the world do. Everybody in the world go to church on Sunday, the majority of the people. But Saturday is the last day of the week. And that's how I met my wife. I met my wife in we've been married, be 7 years this year. So that means we got married in 2019. 2019. I met her in 2014. And 2015. I met my wife in 2015. And we got married in 2019. But when I was back then, I was trying to not go to work on Saturdays. But this particular Saturday, I just couldn't get no rest. I mean, I was restless, man. I tried to sleep. I just couldn't get no rest. So I said, you know what? Let me go down to this hotel and see, can I make some money? Because I mean, I'm just having a difficult time trying to get some rest. And right as I'm walking in the door, my wife was talking to the hotel manager. And when I walked in the door, he looked up and saw me and pointed to say, that's him right there. He was talking about me to her. Then he pointed, and when he said that, I threw my hands up and said, "Hey, whatever it is, I didn't do it." And he said, "I think you can help her." So my wife told me Anwar, this Ethiopian guy, she had twisted his arm to do something, and when she told me what he had agreed to, I said, "Miss, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I'm not willing to do that. I'm sorry, I can't help you." And my wife balled up her fist, just like this. And I said, "Girl, that's my grandmama's fist. I'm gonna marry you." That's how I met my wife. That's how I met my wife. And then I gave her a price, and she said, "Okay." And from then on, we was together. That's how I met my wife. My wife she tried to twist my arm to get me to take them, because that's what they do in the Philippines, boy. They haggle. They haggle with you. And when I told her no, she balled her fists up like this. And I said, "Girl, that's my grandmama's fist. I'm gonna marry you." That's just what I mean. Her fists look identical, because my grandmama was like 4 feet 11, had a punch like a mule. Man, if my grandmama hit you with her fist, she'd knock you out, buddy. That's how, I'm serious. Because I had a cousin, she wanted to go somewhere, and my grandmother told her, "No, you're not going." And she said, "I'm sick of this place. You can't even go out on the front porch and spit." And my grandmother looked and said, "What the fuck did you say?" My cousin said, "I can't even go out on the front porch and spit." And my grandmama was a snuff dipper. She dipped snuff. Boy, she spit some snuff in my spit some snuff in that, and bam, knocked her out cold. I mean, knocked my cousin out cold. I'm serious. Knocked her out cold. My grandmama, she ain't play, boy. And everybody knew Miss Cora. Everybody knew Miss Cora. Everybody knew Miss Cora. You couldn't do nothing where I live and get, "Oh, you Miss Cora's child," huh? And get on the phone. Before you get home, boy, my grandma be sitting there waiting on you. "What the fuck were you down there doing? What, come on up in here. Go get me a switch, goddammit." And one time my grandmama was gonna whip me with something. She said, "Go get me a switch, goddammit." I brought her back a tree. I cut down a little small tree, and I say, "Here, you gonna kill me anyway, so here." Well, she bust out, started laughing. Get your ass in the house." I'm serious. That's how I got her butt whippings, man. My grandmama sent me to get a, because see, and her sister died, and had 7 kids, and my grandmama took them in. And then when my mama left me with her, I was number 8, and I was the youngest of everybody. So I kind of, I kind of, and because my grandmama was a snuff dipper, nobody wanted to have her in the car, because she might miss the cup and spit snuff all over your car. But see, what they didn't know was, not only did my grandmama fill my tank up with gas, she would put a little money in my pocket. So whenever she needed to go somewhere, hey, Donnie, can you take me? I said, "Well, let me get ready." I ain't had no problem. I ain't had no problem with it, because I knew she was going to take care of me. She was going to give me some money. I had a little green Volkswagen, boy. Stick shift. Man, I'd be all over. I was all over Birmingham. Man, my grandmama she was a genius, man. She really was. Didn't have no education, but boy, she had some wisdom on her. And a lot of the stuff that I do right now, man, is stuff that my grandmama taught me. Everybody knew Miss Cora, man. Everybody knew Miss Cora. Everybody knew Miss Cora. She ain't mess around, buddy. She was a maid for this white doctor, Dr. Merritt. She was a maid. She was his maid until she retired. He died. She was his maid for a long time, and every time she's at come get me, I come up, knock on the front door, Miss Merritt, tell my grandmama I'm here. And McCora will come to the door, get your ass around back. she would come to that front door, get your ass around back. I'll be out there in a minute. Every time I'm telling you, every time I had to go there and pick her up, man, I'm knocking on the front door. I ain't going to the back. I'm knocking on the front door. Tell my grandmama I'm here. Okay, Miss Merritt, tell my grandmama. And then it just got to the point where I knock on the door and I can hear Miss Cora, your grandson here. I didn't go to the back door. I went around back because my grandmama came out back. But when I introduced myself, shit, I'm going to the front door, buddy. That's how come I know I couldn't have stayed in Alabama. That's how I had to get up out of there because see, y'all ain't gonna treat me like that. I was. I no, seriously, man. Y'all ain't gonna treat me like that. I ain't going for that. I remember we used to live in Texas, and my mama put me on the bus to go from Texas to back to Birmingham. And I was in Louisiana, got off the bus and went inside and walked into the cafeteria. And the lady was real nice. She said, "Sweetheart, we don't serve niggers in here." I said, "Oh, okay." And walked back out and got back on the bus. Okay? No, seriously. Okay, that was she. I walked in, man. I said, "Man, I'm going inside. I'm going in the terminal." And when I walked in the captain, she looked at me and she said, "Sweetheart, I'm sorry, we don't serve niggas in here." And I said, "Okay," and walked back out. But I gotta try it though. I can't just accept. I'm just not going to accept any and everything. That's just not going to happen. I'm not going. I'm not going. And see, because and see, and this is the one thing that the difference in white people in the South versus the North. In the South, if a white person likes you, you're gonna know it. You're gonna know it. Okay. But if they don't like your ass, you gonna know that too. They ain't gonna sugarcoat shit for you. These white people up north sugarcoat shit. They'll say one thing in your face and get behind your back and do something totally different. But in the South, white people, you gonna know where they stand. Ain't gonna be no ifs, ands, or buts about it, buddy. Okay? You gonna know where they stand as a black person. And see, in the South, black people knew where the boundaries were. Let me say that again. In the South, black people knew where the boundaries were. Okay? Wow. All of the most influential in my life started in Ace. Damn, that's a hell of a statement, Jeff. That's a hell of a statement. But they knew. See, in the South, you know where the boundaries are. Ain't no ifs, and buts about it. You know where the line is, who gonna do what. You know where they are. Because it's almost like it is automatic, man. You born. You born with that stuff. You just know where the boundaries are in the South. You know where they are. But see, up north, they're blurred. They are extremely blurred. And you don't find out until once you cross it. Then that's when you find out, get the consequences. But because most people will pretend to be something that they're not up north, but versus down south, and they're gonna be real with you. They'll be real with you. But I just knew that, especially in Alabama, everybody carry a gun. Everybody pack in Alabama. And I said, man, let me get out. I don't want to live like this. I just don't want to live like this. I don't want to, have that fear. I don't want to, just don't want to be around that. So my mama got sick, and I just said, hey y'all, I'm going to see by my mama in DC. And when I came to DC, it was like 75% black. And I told my mama, I said, God damn, Jeff. Damn, Jeff. Damn, brother. Thank you, man, for that 100, man. That's $200 you done gave me today, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Damn. See, you can't be God, man. You can't be God. You can't be God. And see, like, I told y'all, uh um, Cash App deactivated my account. And it's one of the main accounts I had to get my money was Cash App. And I'm like, okay, Lord, you're just gonna have to open up a way. And just sitting here today, man, this man done gave me $200. Well, $202, $3. Thank you for the blessing, brother. Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. You don't, you- thank you, man. Yeah, you have no idea. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But when I first came to DC, we were like 75% black. I never been in a place where so many black folk were. And I told my mama, I said, Mama, you ain't tell me about all this. She said, boy, what you talking about? I said, how come you ain't tell me all these black folk were up here in DC? Thought you knew. I know now. And I never left. And that was 50 years ago. Be 51 years this year. Last year was 50 years that I've been in DC. And, a lot of people, uh, some people live here. Nobody never know who they are. But I can honestly say that I'm pretty much known in DC. I'm pretty much known in DC. I could help DC. I could help DC a lot. I really could. Because I can make sense to them. And see, we're the only city. Yeah, I am. Actually, Jeff, I am known all that's one of the things sitting in front of the White House that I have. Man, I blew up in China. I done every time them Chinese come to the White House, boy, I play their national anthem, and they put their phones out. They put their phone, and now some come up. I saw you on Chinese TikTok. Can I take a picture with you? Absolutely, absolutely. And so my how I got known all over the world is this way. When I first went down to the White House, I used to just play a lot of music. And I noticed that, a lot of people didn't put no donations in the bucket. And this is how, I got this and my Black History tours. Whenever I wasn't doing a Black History tour, I was sitting in front of the White House. And then I said, wait a minute, let me start playing national anthems of other countries and see if that would increase. Man, they gave me another $100. Oh God, you are so good. You are so good. God, you are so good. You are so good. Thank you, Lord. You're so good. So good. Wow. 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 That's up, man. Thank you, man. Thank you. He's so good. God is so good. God is so good. I can't, it's um man, let me show y'all something. I'm gonna show you something. Show you now since May of last year, my checking account has not been in the red since May of last year. Okay. And I just got to the point where, man, I said, I'm just gonna start trusting God and believing Him to, you know, supply my needs. And I had to every Sunday I pay my little hotel bill. And when I went this morning, paid, let me show you. I'm gonna show you. That's what my account was right there. Was $300 in the red. And I'm trusting God. I'm saying, Lord, I don't know where I'm gonna get this money from, but I'm trusting you. I don't know where it's coming from, but I'm believing that you're gonna provide for my needs. And look, right now, I got the money to put my account back in the black. Because I've been in the black since May of last year. And just trusting and believing God, man. And this is a good example, okay? When you trust God. And he ain't and he's and the guy this man done gave me $500 today. Damn. I can't make this up. I'm sitting here and this dude then gave me $500 today. Man, thank you. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you. What can I say? God is good. I'm straight. I'm straight now. Boy, I'm telling you, God is good, man. Can't beat God. Can't beat him. Just believe.
Just just believe. Just believe. And it's all gonna be all right. Just believe. That's all you got to do. Step out and believe. God, I'm trusting you and watch him work. I didn't get up this morning thinking, oh man, somebody gonna give me $500 today. I was like, today is my day. Today is my day. Thank you, man. Thank you, brother. Thank you so very much. Thank you, man. Thank you, brother. Thank you. 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 Man, thank you. Thank you. Wow. Wow. That's all I got to say. Wow. 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 Well, anyway, let me wrap this thing up, man. Jeff, man, thank you, brother. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you so very much, man. Thank you. Thank you. May God abundantly bless you, brother. I pray that God give you 100-fold return on your blessing. Pray you get 100-fold return for the gift. Thank you, man. Thank you. All right. All right, y'all. That's wow. Wow. That's all I can say. Wow. All right. I see you. I'll be back. See you later.